It's Saturday once again, and time to take you on a voyage of the weekly news program, The World This Week. On the program, all the regulars on the second segment, which include foreign news recap, sports roundup, and Saturday special, will wrap up this segment. The curtain raiser is the National Convention of the All Progressives Congress in Abuja, where our new chairman and National Working Committee members will emerge. Sit back as we take you through this explosive edition of the news program, The World This Week. I am Mojisola Sholaja, your anchor. Let me quickly chip in the words of Albert Einstein, which says, "Strive not to be a success, to be of value." 6 persons, starting on a political note, 6 persons vying for the position of the national chairman of the All Progressives Congress have stepped down from the contest. The 6 former candidates have backed the candidate of the President, Muhammadu Buhari, as a consensus candidate, Senator Abdullahi Adamu. This was contained in a letter sent to the chairman of the APC Election Subcommittee and signed by Senator George Akume, who was also among those vying for the position. Meanwhile, there was chaos at the entrance of Eagle Square, Abuja, on Saturday as security agents fired several rounds of tear gas at delegates, as well as officials finding their way into the venue of 2022 All Progressives Congress National Convention. Despite the over 1,000 security agents deployed to ensure decorum at the venue, the entrance of Eagle Square was disorganized. And still talking politics, the ongoing National Convention of the All Progressives Congress, APC, in Abuja will make the party more united and stronger for the 2023 general elections. The assurance was given by the Speaker, Ogun State House of Assembly, Right Honorable Olakunle Olomo, in an interview with Yusuf Ganiu at the Eagle Square in Abuja. Olomo said any disagreement within the party is not totally strange with any ruling political party, describing the issues as surmountable and will only make the party stronger.
It is normal. When you are the party in control of government, all the tension and the pressure are on you. People are out to discuss you, and everybody, aspirant, sees himself as automatically winning the election after winning ticket or getting the leverage that comes with political slot. So that is why anytime the government in power is holding convention or primary, the tension is always high. But like I told you earlier on, we have a leader of the party at the national and at the state level. So whatever the leader of the party at national stage is going to be adopted at the state, and all of us will follow suit.
The outcome of the convention is expected to be out on Sunday. There are 2 sides to a story sometimes. Legal practitioners and Nigerians are still divided over the judgment voiding Electoral Act 2022, Section 84, Subsection 12 of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Fowora Adesanwo went out and brought back this special report on an issue that is generating a lot of interest.
The 2023 general election fever is high.
Yes.
Will you be voting?
Of course I will.
To vote?
Yes.
What is the Section 84, Subsection 12 of that Act says?
I don't. I'm not in politics, I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know it.
Nigerians are warming up, but some are ill-prepared for the polls.
I don't want to vote anymore because the ones we have been doing have not been bringing us anything.
Although the clean copy of the electoral law is now a subject of litigation, some legal luminaries say it is uncalled for.
If the National Assembly feels that, that provision is inadequate, unfair, or unjust, they could have as well taken steps to amend that provision. But they cannot use another act to amend the original provision of the Constitution. So that section 84 sub 12 clearly, to me, I've read the two, both the Constitution, I have seen it clearly that there is a conflict.
If the Constitution says 6 months and the Electoral Act says 1 month, the Constitution supersedes whatever the Electoral Act says.
But a public analyst and another lawyer interviewed on the contentious section 84 subsection 12 of 2022 Nigerian electoral law say it is the beauty of democracy that is playing out.
You see, the National Assembly has now gone ahead because these people are political office holders. They are not civil servants. They are not public servants. And National Assembly has now made a provision requesting the same provision, at least. You see, the National Assembly is giving such power to legislate concerning any issue concerning the whole nation.
A court in Umahia had declared that should be expunged from the Electoral Act, which our representatives in the Senate and in the House of Representatives have done so much work on, had lobbied the presidency, had bent back doubled for the presidency. Then after they finally got his assent, they are now, a judge is now saying that they should expunge that. I think I will stand with the legislators.
Engineer Paul Oni, who insists that the ninth legislature have done very well with the electoral law and a number of amendments done to the current constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, said there may be no need for restructuring being clamored for across the country. Oluwatoyin Poroye and Bumi Adelabu are not convinced.
To me, honestly speaking, that decision is okay. Yes, they have the right of appeal. It's part of the law. Let us test the law.
Any act that is inconsistent with the provisions of the Constitution is null and void to the extent of its inconsistency.
However, Barrister Oyefesobi, who toes the line of Engineer Paul Oni, believes deleting section 84 subsection 12 after the assent of the president is just an afterthought.
I don't think you can give judgment against a party that was not a party to the suit.
Is now the law as made by the National Assembly stands.
There is no doubt about the fact that the last has not been heard of the saga. Adefowora Adesanwo, OGTV News.
Nigeria is bigger than any individual or institution, and patriotism should reflect in the everyday life of an average Nigerian youth. Participation and involvement of youth in nationalization should be mandatory as the youth play a vital role in nation building. Ronke Adeyemi in this special report evaluates the level of patriotism in Nigerian youth and ways to improve their participation. Her report.
So far, Nigeria's population size is put at 182 million, with more than half of people under 30 years of age, and the size of its economy has had no positive bearing on its progress. Rather, a severe strain is showing as the nation is suffering from a slowing economy and declining revenues. Youth today have been unable to reach the level of nationalism and patriotism that was spent fighting for the actualization of independence, and in the wake of the Fourth Republic, when the nation managed to shake off military dictatorship with the death of General Sani Abacha in 1998. The 2009 Nigerian National Youth Policy defines youth as between 18 and 35 years, with the Youth Development Index placing the country at 140 out of 170 countries, according to development in youth education, employment, health, equality, inclusion, peace, security, political and civic participation. Youths admitted apathy to happenings around and claimed there is no incentive to do otherwise.
Any individual or youth that is coming out now that wants to be a patriotic Nigeria youth will think twice about it.
It's just about what the country has already given to the youth to be patriotic about. Because what I think is you can't just give something. I have to get something in return to give something back.
When channeled appropriately, youths are full of vibrant ideas that the government can channel towards nation building.
There are a lot of industrious youth that they have the zeal and are capable of doing marvelously well, irrespective of their field or anything.
So if the country has actually put in some place, some actually facility for the youth, then the youth will be like, yes, you're actually owing this country a service.
Young people are indispensable in delivering a future that is more just, inclusive, sustainable, and resilient.
Consider the numbers of youths we have in Nigeria. Imagine a school producing millions of graduates every year. If your effort is not enough or are not enough, you have to try as much as possible. Yes, it can't go in circular, but at least to some extent.
We are not too young to rule. And people there, like, we are the leaders of tomorrow. It's the people I knew when I was in GS1, when I was in primary school. I knew they're still there, still in government till now.
Youth called for more investment in lifelong digital skilling of young people, safety, and youth participation in decision-making to reverse trends which adversely impact them. Aderunke Adeyemi, OGTV News.
The ongoing sales of admission form for 74 regular course of eligible male and female Nigerians into the Nigerian Defense Academy Kaduna will close on Thursday, 31st of March 2022, while the screening test will be conducted at various centers across the country on Saturday, 23rd of April 2022. A statement by the Ogun State Ministry of Information and Strategy enjoins interested indigents of the state to log on to the application portal on www.ndaapplication.net. They are to select the purchase access codes, fill in the details to pay for the application after obtaining the identity and remitter retrieve reference with the sum of 3,500 naira only. According to the statement, applicants are also expected to obtain JAMB forms, select NDA as first choice of institution, and obtain a minimum score of 180 for art, social sciences or management courses, and 210 for engineering courses. The responsibility of caring for visually impaired persons cannot be overemphasized, as individuals with sight need to understand the difficulties of visually impaired, recognize their abilities, and learn how to cooperate and communicate with them. This came to fore during an empowerment program organized by the Nigeria Association of the Blind, Ogun State Chapter. We'll bring you the details of this in subsequent bulletin. A federal high court in Lagos has ordered the final forfeiture of a vacant plot of land situated at plot 13, block 1, Oniru Chieftaincy Family Private Estate, Lekki, Lagos, allegedly belonging to a former Nigeria Petroleum Minister, Mrs. Desani Alison Madueke. Justice Akintayo Aluku made the order following an application filed by the head legal section of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, Mr. Anslem Ozioko, but moved and argued by a legal officer in the commission, Mr. Abbas Muhammad. Justice Bas Kwewuni had on May 15, 2018, granted interim forfeiture of the said land before it was transferred out of jurisdiction. He tried the case sometime in 2018, granted interim forfeiture of the said land upon reading the affidavit in support of the motion paper sworn to by Abdul Rashid Bawa. Also directed the EFCC to notify the persons in whom possession the properties sought to be forfeited are found to appear before the court and show within 14 days why the properties should not be forfeited to the federal government of Nigeria. The order also directed the EFCC to publish in any newspaper of interim order for persons in whose possession the properties sought to be forfeited are found, or anyone who is interested in the properties sought to be forfeited to appear before the court to show cause within 14 days. The Kaduna State government has confirmed that a device suspected to be an improvised explosive device was detonated around Yazufa Junction, Hayin Damani, Igabi local government area on Saturday. It was reported that residents of Hayin Damani were thrown into confusion as an IED exploded near a point-of-sale operator's shop in the area. The explosion injured the POS operator, who was rushed to the hospital. The State Commissioner of Internal Security and Home Affairs, Samuel Aruwan, confirmed the incident, said the explosion caused serious injuries that affected the POS operator and others yet to be identified. The Commissioner explained that the POS operator, simply identified as Muhammad Hassan, at the close of shop, had gone to pick up his motorcycle where it was parked close to his shop, and upon starting the motorcycle, it exploded. Everyone, however, personnel of the anti-bomb squad of the State Police Command had visited the scene of the incident and evacuated the debris. Operatives successfully disabled the second device planted in the area by some criminal elements. Meanwhile, bandits on Saturday stormed the Kaduna International Airport, stopping an aircraft from taking off. It was gathered that the aircraft, which was built to take off at noon, could not proceed due to the presence of the heavily armed bandits around the runway of the airport. It was also gathered that hoodlums who stormed the runway forced officials of the airline and passengers to run for safety. The bandits killed a staff of an airspace management agency. We'll take a break now. Join us shortly for the second segment of the program. You're still watching The World This Week on OGTV Abeokuta. About 24 girls and women chanting "Open the Schools" protested in the Afghan capital on Saturday against the Taliban's decision to shut their secondary schools just hours after reopening them this week. Thousands of jubilant girls across Afghanistan had flocked to learning institutions on Wednesday, the date the Education Ministry had set for classes to resume. But just hours into the first day, the ministry announced a shock policy reversal that left the youngsters saying that they felt betrayed. They held banners that said education is our fundamental right, not a political plan, as they marched for a short distance and later dispersed as Taliban fighters arrived at the scene. The protest was the first held by women in weeks after the Taliban rounded up the ringleaders of initial demonstrations held after they returned to power in August. From Afghanistan, we move to Ukraine. Ukraine has rejected Russia's demand to surrender Mariupol in exchange for safe passage out of the town. Elsewhere, Ghanaian President Nana Akufo-Addo and his ministers have cut their salaries by 30% as part of measures to reduce government spending. And a Chinese passenger plane with 132 people on board crashed in a forested hillside in southern China. Join us for these and more on the Foreign News Recap.